Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. I guess you could call it a mini episode of Emerald City Sports, the podcast. We're going to be running through things quick here because our boy Jacob is not here and he's got a lot of things to say. And we obviously don't want to miss out on Jacob's awesome stories about all the things he's been able to experience in this past week. So we're just going to run through a couple quick things and then combat the longest episode so far in Emerald City Sports history with the shortest episode, or one of the shorter episodes. So, Josh, let's jump right in. The Mariners, the last time we were talking about them, they were in a hard, long, long, series with the Astros. And now that we're looking back on it, that series went really freaking well. They won 5-1, they won 10-1, they lost a close 2-3 game, but then they won 3-1 to finish off with a series win at the All-Star break. Josh, what was your reaction to this series against the much hated Astros?
Just the team showing up against the Astros. The pitching was great, and we got the hits when we needed, and then we were able to hit those long home runs in a very hard to hit Astro Minute Maid Park with those that high left wall.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. The pitching was absolutely on fire. They only gave up one run in the first game, one run in the second game, 3 runs in the third game, and then one run again in the fourth game. The pitching was just absolutely phenomenal. Once again, still like consistent pitching this whole season so far. It's just been consistently quality performances from the pitchers, something that really needs to be backed up by the hitters. And luckily, the hitters did come out and produce something this series, which was amazing to see. It's a great way to come into the All Star break. Finally starting to pick things up, finally starting to get the hang of it. They are third in the AL West with a still decent record of 45-44. They're still above 500. They leapfrogged past the Angels, so they're still up there. They still got a good shot at that wild card spot. Josh, now we are in the second half of the season with the All Star game behind us. What are you looking for in this final stretch? Well, I shouldn't say final stretch. I should say the back stretch, the
I
back
agree. I
stretch.
think it's more of a final stretch because it's 90 games in of a 162 game season. This is not a perfect half, and it's not even close. There is 18 more games in the first half of the season than the second half of the season. And wow, that this first half has actually gone a lot
It has,
quicker
it has.
than I
It
thought it
feels
would.
like it
And the
feels like
second half is just
yesterday
gonna
was
blow by. It's
Yeah,
like,
it feels like yesterday was just opening day. It
yep.
really does go by fast when you start just getting so invested into the Mariners and the things they're doing. Yeah. Well, coming back to it, so it is the final stretch. The last 70 or so games. Josh, what are you looking for from this squad to pull out another, hopefully, playoff berth?
I think it's just taking these series one game at a time or one series at a time, and then just getting that 2 out of 3 every single time. Just stay consistent. If we just take 2 out of 3 every single time, maybe get some sweeps and not take any painful reverse sweeps or losing series, then we would be able to hopefully make the playoffs and hopefully take some more games and rise up the leaderboard. I think also the fact that I honestly believe that the Mariners might not do anything at the trade deadline. Like I I mean maybe go for another bat like Colin Wong where
Yeah,
it could just go crazy. I don't think no one's going to trade for Colin Wong. I think he might even get DFA'd
DFA.
soon.
Yeah,
Like
a
he's
lot of
been
people are calling for it.
yeah. They are calling for it and I agree with them. But I think the Mariners need to. I think they need to know that they're not going to get extra help. Stick with what they have and try to win with that.
Yeah, and like you said, Josh, a big thing that has happened that has caused them to be so close to the 500 mark is the fact that they were losing these close games. Last year, they were winning all these close games to really get them up to a good record. This year, it's been the opposite. Josh, how do the Mariners combat these close games, especially when they're on the losing end?
It would, I think, to combat them is just to get runs early. I mean, just send. You have. It's not about It's not about getting a hit every inning because that's not gonna work. That's just gonna leave a guy on first every single inning. You need to. They need to have to stringing these hits, and then that's would be able to get that just that one more extra run, that one or two more extra runs. That when you get into the late game, you'll either have that lead or just tie because every run matters. And if you can get them early and then just, especially because you start the game with the top of the lineup, get just two or three hit. All you need is two hits in a row, and that just sends a guy home and that will help the entire game and as well as set the mood and set the pace.
And a lot something a lot of critics has been have ooh, a lot something a lot of critics have been saying about the Seattle Mariners this year is that they don't seem to put that much effort into their games. I feel like they have a good point there. The Mariners really haven't been like going that entire 110% that a lot of coaches and managers expect. They seem to be going more like a 70-80%. That could be a reason why they are falling behind. A lack of effort. Josh, do you think that's a good excuse, if you could say that?
I don't think, yeah, I don't think that's a good excuse. They're, I don't think they're actually like they're. I don't. I don't think that they aren't trying enough. Like I think they're actively trying to win each game. I think it's just better. I feel like precision, because the pitchers need to throw it in the right place. The batters need to hit it in the right place, and we're just not. I think the effort is there. The wanting of trying to win the game is there. Just I don't think we can finish the game. Especially, I mean, we can see that for the one-run differentials. We
That's
can see
true.
that with not being able to get runners to scoring position at home. We just can't finish it. Like we can't get that last bit we need. But I don't think it's like effortless. Like I don't think we need Scott Service to go in there, get a huge pep talk, and then we'll be in the playoffs.
All right, great point there, Josh. So I mean, we're coming into the a final stretch of the season. You got to pull out some big wins here. Perform well, like you said, Josh. You got to finish. You got to put in all the effort. You got to hit. You got to pitch perfectly. And if that's the case, I mean, remember the Mariners are still up there in wild card contention. It is kind of a long shot to win the AL West, but they do have a good shot at securing a wild card berth, and we'll see what happens once we get into this final, guess you could say, 1/3 of the season. We're almost
Yeah.
there, and it's gonna be absolutely huge. Hopefully, the Mariners bring back another wild card berth and back to back playoff appearances for a team that just had a 21-year drought would be kind of nice, even if it's not in the prettiest fashion as we have clearly seen in this first half of the season. Now, Josh, we go over to the Seattle Mariners. They went 1-1 in the stretch between our last episode and this one. But I
Did you
mean,
see
we
the Mariners again?
did I say the
You
Mariners?
just
I meant the
Yeah, you said
Sounders.
moving on to the
Sorry,
Mariners, and
sorry,
I'm
sorry,
like,
sorry. I
wait a
meant the
second,
Sounders.
wait a second.
My
Are we
brain is
good?
absolutely fried right now. My bad. I'm talking. I meant the Sounders. They were 1-1 in the stretch from our last episode to this episode, but we got to talk about the good first, and that is a 3-2 victory over the Vancouver Whitecaps. Josh, you are always absolutely invested in this rivalry. You went to a game in Vancouver to watch the. Oh my gosh, why do I keep saying Mariners? To watch the Sounders unfortunately lose, but this time they pulled out with a victory. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, it was a huge win for the Seattle Sounders. See, I got that part right.
Yeah, you didn't turn into the referee during the Seahawks. I think it was like the Seahawks Rams game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was embarrassing.
Uh, it was a beautiful big win. It was comeback. It was a comeback win. Down 1-0 at the half. and the Sounders pull it off with 2 goals by Leo Chu and then a last second goal at the end by Yamar as some guy in the crowds that was right next to a crowd mic was screaming, "You just got Yamar!" Just that was amazing, and Vancouver crowd was spooked. It got the Sounders, who have been playing without Jordan Morris and Christian Roldan. I mean, it just showed how good our team is, even if we lose the biggest players, and we showed up against the rival, and we got the points.
Yeah, I mean, you just love seeing a crowd just in stunned silence when your team shuts them completely up. And coming into the next one, you would think uh things would continue to look up, but unfortunately, after that, the Sounders lost 2-0 to San Jose. Not the best game, couldn't get a goal in. Josh, what are your thoughts on that game?
Um, yeah, I I was already in a bad mood yesterday going into the game because the U.S. men's national team lost in penalty kicks against Panama in the Gold Cup semifinals due to the fact that Christian Roldan missed the penalty kick
Mm,
to lose the game.
yeah, hate when that happens.
Um, and then just this game, we just kept on sending the same attack. Like Vancouver, it worked. We were able to send Leo Chu in to just run Leo Chu in with the ball, pass it in the cross, somebody finishes. I mean, in the case of what happened during that Sporting KC game, where Jordan Moore scored 4 goals because he was a great finisher and he was just easy layup to finish it every time. That did not happen here. Um, and we just couldn't get any attacks and didn't get any points. And we just this 2 game stretch, has been historically bad for us. That win against Vancouver was the first time we won in Vancouver since 2018. Finally,
Yikes.
the San Jose, we've been historically bad. I don't have a statistic for that, but we have lost I probably more than we've won against San Jose. They've just been one of those teams for us. No matter if they were at the bottom of the table or now in playoff position, just can't beat San Jose. Though finally, because the U.S. is out, we might be able to get Morris and Rodon back for one final game against FC Dallas before we go into that month-long break for the League's Cup and the All-Star game.
And when you look at the standings now, the Sounders have dropped down to the third spot behind LAFC, who leapfrogged them. But Josh, I mean, there's still time left. What are you expecting from the Sounders in this next stretch before the month-long break? Or well, I wouldn't say stretch, but before the
Next
month
stretch,
long,
just beat
before the
beat
month-long
FC
break.
Dallas.
And what is your key to beat
Uh,
FC Dallas? I mean, it's still a pretty tough team. You never
Um.
underestimate.
Oh, let's see. I mean, wow, no, wow. Third game in a row, we have some weird like, oh, we've been historically bad. This is, I mean, FC Dallas we've beaten, but this is the Sounders are calling this a weird Bruce Lee match, and I'm not in. I'm a big,
Interesting.
I believe in Jersey curses because you got the Kraken, you got the Mariners who've both had losing records in their reverse retro and City Connect jerseys. With Sounders, Bruce Lee have only won one game. I think one game at home and either 1 or 2 games away with the Bruce Lee jerseys, but a loss. And I know it's just what they're wearing, but the mindset of not being able to perform in front of the fans. We've been bad at home too. I mean, there's so many factors to this, and we're just playing against a mediocre team. Before we go into, I mean, that it's an MLS break, but all the MLS teams are still playing in the League's Cup with Liga MX.
All right, Josh. So that does it for the Sounders for their month-long break. It's going to be huge. I will say though, Josh, I feel like it is a little superstitious that you say like they're going to lose because they're wearing the Bruce Lee kit. But I mean, I think if you look at the odds here, I mean, the Sounders are the favorites to win this. And I mean, I see what you mean when you say like superstitions with uniforms and stuff. We have seen it with the Mariners. We have seen it with the Kraken, but I mean, I need to see this here. If the Sounders do lose, then I will believe there is um, a kit curse or a uniform curse. But I don't think so. I think the Sounders could pull this one out.
But I mean, like think about. I mean, look at our record. We have like 8 losses. Somehow we're in second. We have 8 losses out of 30 games. I mean, like we've only won 2/3 of the time, and we're somehow in the 3 seed for no reason. And oh shit, where was I going with this? Oh, I completely
Hey, you
forgot.
take what you
I
can
had
get.
something. Yeah, I mean, yes, we take what we get, but we've been favored. There we go. I know we've been favored a lot in almost every single game except LAFC and St. Louis. Actually, we've only games basically we haven't been favored is LAFC, and that's it because we're known as a strong team, but we can't. Sometimes we can't perform to those standards, and you can, and it's blatantly obvious, and that's why me and the entire Sounders fan base get like really mad because we can't perform to these standards, and when we don't, it's not even like we don't even try to fake it. It's just horrible. And days I don't know is where we play at, but just or whose team we're playing against because it's there's patterns for some reason, and it's really weird.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens with the Mariners. I mean, ugh, bruh, we'll see what happens with the
It's
Sounders
the
when it
Seattle
continues.
Mariners,
We'll see
MLS
how it happens with the Sounders as they continue
team.
through this,
Oh
and
yeah.
hopefully they finish up by beating FC Dallas before they go on that month-long break, which actually is just more work. All right, that will end our episode. But one thing, really quick here, Josh. I don't know if you saw this text message from Jacob that he sent during our
Saw
episode.
it.
But he said this, ladies and gentlemen. Hot take: Micah Parsons is not a top 3 edge rusher. Well, stay tuned for the next episode because we will be discussing that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to this mini episode of Emerald City Sports the podcast. We'll see you guys next time. We're going to have a lot of stuff we got to talk about. See you guys later.